welcome to my channel. Today's video is focused on building an Active Directory home lab in a few simple steps with my easy to use PowerShell script. This is just the first version of the script and may have some bugs that I have not encountered yet. So if you find anything, please feel free to submit a bug and I will try to fix them as I can. I'm looking to add various users, OUs, and introduce different misconfigurations in future so that we can run different Active Directory based attacks. If you are interested to contribute to this script, please send a pull request with any changes that you may make and I will merge to the Git repo. So moving forward, I will continue to do the Linux-based videos, but I will also do various security-related videos, both offensive and defensive security videos. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this script in action. So this is my script on GitHub. I will put the link to this script in the description. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. You might encounter a lot of great content. I will try to explain as much as I can, So yeah, hopefully you'll like this video and also some of my other videos. Please subscribe. That will keep you motivated to create more videos. All right. Back to the video tutorial. This is the Create AD Lab PowerShell script. It has two main things here, the adconfig.json file and the configure-adlab.ps1. This is the PowerShell script, and then the adconfig.json is the configuration file that you can use to define what configurations do you want with your Active Directory lab environment. So I tried to put the readme.md file as much as, clear as I could. Some of the things I may have just assumed, send me any feedback, put in the comments below, and I will update the readme file as well. So the adconfig.json file here. So this is the sample config file here. You can define, so this script right now supports 3 domain controllers. So 2 can be the primary and the secondary domain controllers, and then the third one will be a child domain controller. I have not done any trust-related stuff at the moment, but I plan to do so in my future version of this script. So the total server is 3. If you want to just do 1 domain controller, that's fine. You can change that to 1. If you want to do primary and secondary, you can update that to 2. And then if you wanted to, include the child domain, then you have to, you can set this to 3. One thing to note though is that it's not going to deploy a VM or install operating system or anything like that. You are going to have to run this script on the, installation on the operating system that's been installed, right? So I do have a VM with 2019, Windows Server 2019, where I'm going to run this script. So make sure you have the operating system installed and be ready to run the script. Most of the settings are self-explanatory. The domain name is the name of the domain that you want to create. So example.lab in this default config. Domain net bias name, as it explains, the net bias name of the domain controller. If you are creating child domain, make sure you have the name of the child domain. The DNS server is or should be the DNS server of the primary domain controller. If you are creating only 1 domain controller, you don't have to worry about this because once we configure the DC, it will update the domain controller to be itself. But, in order to be able to pull the packages and whatnot, make sure you have a working DNS server. The default gateway is the name suggests, it's the default gateway IP address, the mask bits, the subnet mask to be used. The EA username is the enterprise admin username. So this script creates an enterprise admin user when the domain controller configuration is complete. So you might want to define the enterprise admin username, the enterprise admin password, the admin password for the domain controller, the safe mode admin password as well. I am planning on upgrading this config file to be able to store encrypted passwords, but this is for the home lab, and right now it is what it is. We're doing the plain text password. You can always change the passwords after the configuration is complete. Now we are going to define the DC1 IP address, the DC1 host name, the IP address for the second domain controller, the host name, the IP address for the third domain controller, and the host name for the third domain controller. So that's the config file. So now in order to run this script, what you're going to do is you're going to run the script, the configure AD lab, and then you're going to pass the server number. So on the first server, you're going to run it with server number 1. On the second one, it's going to be 2. Third one is going to be 3, and so forth. I mean, not so forth, because we only support 3 domain controllers right now. So let's see this in action. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the raw here, copy this. This is my domain controller, brand new domain controller. Put this config file here. I'll just leave that at default. And then I'm only going to create one for this demo. config.json, make sure the file name is correct. Then I am going to go back here and copy the Powershell. Let's do the raw. Okay, and I'm also going to save as. I could have just used the IWR, but that's fine. Configure lab.ps1. Alright, so Powershell. Takes a bit to load all the modules. Let's go to the desktop. Okay, AD lab. Alright, so there's the configure AD lab Powershell script. And then we're going to pass the server number to be 1. And honestly, that's it. It will do all, it is necessary to configure this to be the domain controller. Also, it might need to reboot multiple times during the process. And you just log in, and then it will continue from where it left off. So there's one prompt here. It says, did you clone or copy this operating system? So when you are dealing with virtual environments, you may just clone this server. So if you are cloning, or if this is a cloned server, for example, this was the second domain controller that you cloned from the first one, then you would say yes, so that it can run sysprep and then, kind of freshen the system. So in this case, we're just going to say no. Because this is the fresh install, it's not a clone, and that this is their first domain controller. So now it's rebooting. Wait for it to reboot. All right. Kind of resized when it did that. So the reason I wrote this script is because I was trying to learn Active Directory, and I couldn't find something that would simply let me configure the Active Directory. There were lots of tutorials out there, but I just wanted to make a simple script. So it's logging back in, and it should launch the Powershell window and continue. There we go. So as the Powershell window, it's going to continue from when it left off. Again, if you do not understand any of the the script, anything, you want to review the script, read the script, you don't understand anything, or if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comments. Okay, there we go. It's resuming after reboot. The first step, it basically just rename the server, configure the IP addresses, and reboot it. If it was a clone, it would have taken a little bit of time to run the sysprep. But now it's installing the Active Directory modules and things like that so that we can run the PowerShell commands to convert this server to the domain controller. Or I should say promote this server to the domain controller. It will probably reboot one more time. Again, it's going to continue from where it left off. So we don't have to worry at all. 92%. All right, so okay, it's now promoting. So as you can see, it's running the install ADDS forest. Take a bit of time. Okay, waiting for the DNS installation to finish. Installing group policy management console. All these yellow warnings, there's warnings. I have not focused on securing the domain controller or configuring it securely. This is just for the purposes of the lab. Okay, so as we can see, the domain controller configuration has been complete, and the computer is being restarted because Active Directory Domain Services was installed or removed. So as soon as we click close, it is restarting now. So it looks like, give or take, once you start running the script, it takes about 15-20 minutes. I'd say 20 minutes for the script to complete and for you to have your domain controllers. Just the domain controller. What I'll probably do is once we have the domain controller, I found this vuln script. A script that creates a vulnerable Active Directory, so it kind of introduces these attacks. What we can do is we can actually run this and on top of our Active Directory configuration script to introduce these attacks. I will probably do something similar and incorporate that in the same script and any other additional attacks. But until then, you could use this vulnerable AD package as well. I'll put this link in the description as well. Still applying computer settings. All right, still needs PS1. Okay, so let's in Control-Alt-Del. Okay, so the default password. All right, I think it does add the user now. So, okay, create users. All right, so Active Directory has been configured. So if we do git AD domain, then we can see that this is the first domain controller. Now, similar to how we ran it on this server, if you wanted to add another second domain controller, you can just run the same script with the server number as 2. All right, so now let's try to run. We'll try to run the vuln AD users CD administrator. All right, CD desktop. I'm just going to do Okay, let's just put it in the same directory, IWR, and then I'm going to out file vuln.ad.ps1. Okay, the file's downloaded. One problem that I had with this script is that if we open it here, we'll probably see that. Let's see. So these banners, this banner was kind of throwing it off. So what I had to do is just the weird characters there. It doesn't seem to work on a default install. So now that we have that, we're going to say import -module and then .configure adlab.ps1. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That was the vuln ad. Okay. And now if we go back here, as you can see, all you have to do is invoke vuln ad with the proper domain name and the user limit. So, for example, you can create 200 users, you can create 100 users, it's up to you. And then the domain name for us is example.lab. So let's go ahead and do that. Example.lab. So as you can see, it's creating a bunch of different users. It creates different, ACLs that can be abused. All these different attack scenarios have been created. So that's, pretty simple and easy way to create your vulnerable Active Directory home lab. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that you will be able to create your own home Active Directory lab with this script. And also obviously follow the video if you get stuck anywhere, and then use the vuln ad script for now. But I will in the future, hopefully in the near future, I will add the ability to introduce these scenarios into the same script. Alright, once again, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Helps me create more videos, keeps me motivated, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.